Isn't it strange that there are children on this earth that go to school and don't know a world without the Apple Watch? Apple is really pushing smartwatches. They continue to make improvements year over year, but the Series 8, it is the smallest upgrade yet.
But honestly, no one with the Series 7 is thinking about buying a Series 8. Firstly, because the Series 7 is still a great smartwatch and because hardly anything has changed. The most noticeable difference is that the colors green and blue are no longer available, but silver is back again. For the stainless steel models, everything is as usual, black, silver and, as I have it here, gold. Titanium has been discontinued and is only available on the Apple Watch Ultra. Ordinary watches are round with angular elements. The Apple Watch is a square, but anything about it is rounded. The transition between the glass and the case is so good that you almost can't feel it, especially on the stainless steel version. The build quality is remarkable and the water resistance of 50 meters definitely underlines that. It is an exceptional, classy little computer. The display has become 20% larger compared to the Apple Watch Series 6 with 40% thinner bezels and a 50% thicker glass. Even the display from the 41mm Apple Watch is so big now that I never felt like I wanted a 45mm model. Thanks to OLED and perfect black, you can't really tell where the display begins and where it stops. Readability is even in bright sun possible thanks to the 1000 nits brightness. This is the best smartwatch display and I do like the always-on feature quite a lot. You can always see the time and that's kind of part of what makes a watch a watch. The countless pre-installed watch faces are highly customizable, from ultra minimalistic to playful or functional. Everything is operated via touch, but there's also a digital crown for the fine settings or a long list. I use my Apple Watch primarily for 4 things. First, pay with Apple Pay. Second, as an alarm. The gentle vibration is silent but clearly noticeable. Third, to read incoming messages and sometimes reply directly to them. And fourth, for fitness, be it for timers in the breaks between sets, steps or the sleep cycle. Every now and then I find the navigation with the Apple Watch also handy. The Apple Watch can do an incredible amount of things. There are thousands of apps, but in my eyes the strength lies more in the things you don't have to actively open, like the continuous pulse measurement or the blood oxygen data. And now there is a new thermometer. I take my temperature every day with a Withings thermometer.
But why do I do that? Well, professional athletes, they do that too, to see whether they go into an overtraining or if they get ill. And I'm not a professional athlete, but I can benefit from the same logic. And a few weeks back, I almost had a blood poisoning, but I could see it before it happened because I check on my temperature every day.
The Apple Watch Series 8 can detect temperatures, but not the exact value, only changes. But that's perfectly sufficient to tell women how their periods are going. But theoretically, in combination with the blood oxygen measurement, you should be able to detect corona and other diseases. Officially, Apple says nothing about this. Instead, this year they talk a lot about the crash detection. In the event of a car accident, the watch can call the emergency services. The processor in here is the Apple S8 and this is actually an Apple S6. And that's not a problem at first, because the performance is great at all times. But if Apple had switched from the current 7nm to 4nm like in the A16 or the Qualcomm W5 Gen 1, I'm sure the battery life would be even better than it is. The Series 8 lasts just as long as the Series 7. In my case, I got about 2 days out of it. Thanks to the new, faster charging puck, it's enough to charge the watch only briefly while I'm showering, and that's enough power for the whole day again. However, because I'm used to the 30-day battery life of a Withings scan watch and the Android competition now also manages several days, I can see the greatest need for optimization at this point for Apple. Nonetheless, it is important to emphasize again, I never found myself in a critical situation and 2 days is really okay considering all the functions. Conclusion: the Apple Watch Series 8 is officially the smallest upgrade in the history of the Apple Watch. No improvements in the processor, none in the battery life, none in the display.
And why? Because Apple is way ahead. Sadly, the prices are also way ahead of the competition. Now, the cheapest Apple Watch is 500 euros. That is 100 euros more expensive than the Series 7, which you can totally buy if you're not a woman and you don't care about the thermometer. I do like the stainless steel model, but the price difference is way too high. But Apple should not rest. The competition is not sleeping, and now they have a head start, but maybe it will decrease in time. So I hope next year they will do a bigger upgrade, but for then, this still is the best smartwatch, and I do like it quite a lot.